Alright, what is up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris and today I am back with another video here. So, Flyers lose 6-2 to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Way too many mistakes in this game. Like, way too many. And, you know, earlier today when I was watching the pregame from Torts, I actually agreed with a lot of what he said. And you know, I think I thought he made some good points on the flow of how they've been able to kind of roll with these lines. It's been the same lines since December 20th against Columbus. Van Riemsdyk with Frost and Tippett, Farabee with Cates and Konechny, Hayes with Lawton and Allison, Delorier with Brown and McEwen. The defense has kind of switched a little bit, like Provorov's going, or excuse me, not Provorov. York has gone down to the third pair, Ristolainen goes up. Now, like, there's been like different switches like that. Sanheim and DeAngelo have kind of been together for most of it. Not as much in this game because DeAngelo was sat for pretty much 2 periods. But, you know, this game, they couldn't get into that flow. And that was the one thing. I actually thought the past handful of games, especially on the 4-game win streak they had, they were able to roll all 4 lines. They all generated offense. I thought even the Flyers' fourth line last game was really good offensively. They just got shots on net. They banged and you know, they just banged in the corners, and then they were able to just create plays, and they ended up getting a goal tonight. But again, just too many mistakes. Early on, literally the Leafs had 4 shots in the first minute, 6, and you're thinking to yourself, oh boy, here we go. This is how this one's gonna go. And Järnkrok would make it 1-0 Toronto, and it was a play where, like, again, I've talked about this with Sealer. There's plays that he makes where, you know, for him being on the pair with Ristolainen, and again, the defense tonight was Provorov, York, Sanheim, DeAngelo, Sealer, and Ristolainen. Like, at this time, it was Sealer and DeAngelo out there, and he didn't even turn around. Like, he went to the other defenseman's side, and once you do that, that's like one of the worst things you can do as a defenseman. Especially when the Flyers already are a team that struggles, and you know, they don't always have it's not the most consistent forward support, and Järnkrok made it 1-0 and he was just wide open. And Sealer's done that a couple of times. There's been plays where he's got beat. He got beat in the last game against Arizona on that play where he tried to jump, missed it, chipped it around him, and the Coyotes scored the opening goal. Like, there's been plays like that, and Aston Reese scored here to make it 2-0. And honestly, I thought the Flyers, up until this point, they had chances. I mean, it wasn't like that they weren't creating anything. Hayes was stoned by Murray right as the puck came out for the goal. Before that, the Flyers had a couple of hand plays before the Järnkrok goal. Tippett had a really nice play on a breakaway. The TV broadcast said he was skating like 22 miles an hour. And I'm like, that's faster than a car in a school zone. School zone's only 15 miles an hour. Like, it's crazy how fast he was skating. And I thought he had a great first period. He was one of the Flyers that actually played well for most of the game. You know, I'm kind of the belief where, like, I don't really believe that if the team plays bad that nobody really had a good game. Like, I don't believe that. I think there are guys that can shine even in games that are bad. Whether it turns into offense or not, it's still a whole team game. Obviously, so it may not work in all the best sense of, like, you know, you have maybe 1 or 2 guys play well, but you still end up losing. That can still happen. So after those couple of chances, Leafs make it 1-0, and then 2-0. Aston Reese scores, and right before this, JVR had a chance in tight, and that was easily the best line of the first period, I thought, and I honestly thought probably the best line of the game for what it was worth. And it's so unfortunate because DeAngelo tries making a play, fumbles it, so 2-0. So that one, you know, and I'm trying to think of things that maybe led to him being benched. I don't think Torts is really going to tell us anyway. So 2-0, Aston Reese would score, and then Konechny right after. 41st point of the season, 21st goal. Just awesome. I mean, honestly, he's been so good all year. Picks Marner and just snipes at 5-hole. So really not a horrible period. Again, the Flyers had looks. They had chances. It was just a couple mistakes, and they're down 2-1. And then in the second, you get a power play. Can't really get anything going. Then Timmins scores off of a turnover in the offensive zone. It's 3-1. Delorier gets one back. Really nice play. It was it was a really nice pass by Brown, and again, like I mentioned, the fourth line had a lot of chances in that game. They were just firing pucks on net, and Brown made a good read, downloaded the Laurier, and just shows off the mitts a little bit. It was really nice celly. Then the Flyers get a power play, and it's like, okay, they might be right back into this game. But Liljegren scores 4-2, shorthanded, and then Tavares scores 5-2 off of another turnover. And I'm thinking to myself, this game was 3-2 at one point, and you had a power play to tie this. And you're right there. And in recent games, especially the last four since coming out of the Christmas break, in San Jose, they found themselves down by 2. In LA, they were down 1-0, 2-1, ended up coming back. Anaheim, they played well for most of it. Same thing with Arizona. They never really were down much in any of those games. Arizona were down 1-0 and 2-1, but ended up storming back. And in a game like this, in a game against a better opponent than the last 4 teams you've played, that's where it's going to haunt you. And right from the jump, the Flyers just didn't have it tonight. And this is kind of what I meant when I was saying the losses are going to even out, because you're playing a much better team in Toronto, who's, in the first game you played them this season, pretty much owned you for most of it. You were in the game for a little bit, and then one play where Tavares beat out Sanheim. The last game, you were down 4-1, ended up almost storming back, had some great chances late, couldn't tie it. This game, just completely get outplayed. And after this, you know, when it's 3-1, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, it's 3-1 game now. Let's see what happens. Well, then when you get a goal from your fourth line, I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's perfect. That can kind of spark the offense a little bit, and it just fell apart. So it's 5-2, then the Flyers get a power play. Honestly, one of the biggest things tonight was the power play for the Flyers. I mean, they just really couldn't get anything going. Like, grade A chance-wise, it was very, very slim in this game. I mean, they had some looks. Tippett had a couple plays at the net off of a one-timer. They had a couple plays just getting shots through, but again, it just wasn't anything too crazy. And the power play goes 0-for-4. Leafs go 1-for-2. And again, D'Angelo doesn't play. He played one shift. He played 7 minutes and 5 seconds for this game in total. So again, I'm not sure why. I mean, I don't know if it was anything because of that. I mean, I don't think he was great tonight. But the good thing about it, and this was mentioned on the broadcast as well, is that they play again tomorrow. You play Buffalo tomorrow in Buffalo, which was an added game because of a missed... There was a game a couple weeks ago that had to get rescheduled, so the Flyers game from like March 4th or something had to get moved up. So this game wasn't supposed to be a back-to-back tonight. Now it is, and the Flyers will go to Buffalo tomorrow to play the Sabres. But in the third, Matthews made it 6-2, and at that point, I mean, again, I've talked about it before. I like how the Flyers have that effort where they just kind of keep playing. Where last year, once they were down, the game was over. Once it was 1-0, they had already lost. And this year, that's changed, and they've been able to fight back in these games. But the biggest thing for me tonight was just right off the jump. I mean, Toronto played last night. They won at home against Detroit. And you came into this game with 2 days off. You last played Thursday, and you were just flat right from the get-go. The first minute and 6 seconds, I'm like, oh boy. And then it's 1-0, 2-0, you get one back, 3-1, then it's 3-2, and then the game just fell apart again. It's like, you had chances to kind of stay in this, and you just couldn't do it. And that's the difference between the Leafs and the Flyers. And really any other good team, whether it's Boston, Tampa Bay. I can name so many different teams right now. I'm not going to. You understand what I mean. But that was the biggest thing. Again, Konechny's been great for most of the season. I thought he had a pretty good game. Cates in different way. I think honestly, defensively, Cates has come a long way. And I'm not like saying that in the sense of like, oh well, he's been bad before, now he's been better. I'm saying that in the sense of like, he wasn't as noticeable, I think, to like, I guess like the average viewer, the person just maybe tuning into the game. But like for me, like I watch the game religiously, so like I noticed the plays, and like I tweeted out one play he made on Tavares in the first, and he's so valuable. And I honestly look at it like, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm like, does the offense really, I guess I should say, matter? Because it's like, well, if he's playing so good defensively, the offense will come, right? And I think that's kind of happened a little bit. with some guys, just around the league and stuff like that. I think it's going to take some time, and I think he could, not get better at it. But I think that there's more that can be there, especially I think with usage and stuff like that. Obviously, he was taking off the power play and all that stuff. So, like, I think that can still be there. But defensively, he's been fantastic. Like, 98% of the time, he's in position. And he's a really, really good, valuable forward for moving forward for this team because there's so many little things that he does right. It's like he was taught this before. He's just a smart player. He knew this stuff. And, again, I thought he had a good game tonight. I don't know why I'm stuttering like that. But, just overall, I thought there were a few good things tonight from some guys. But again, just way too many mistakes. And I don't know if Torts will switch up the lines now that they've lost. Probably not. Because they were scoring at a pretty high rate. They had over 4 goals in 4 straight games, and they only get 2 tonight. But they had a lot of chances. But again, you're playing another good team in Buffalo who, as of the last time I checked, Boston played tonight, but they were tied with Boston for the most goals in the league with 149. So that's concerning because Buffalo is very good, and you have to stop Tage Thompson. So we'll see how that goes. But overall, let me know your guys' thoughts below. Just, again, way too many mistakes tonight. Remember to check out the podcast. Flyers watch party is coming up this weekend. On Saturday, the 14th, Flyers are taking on the Capitals. Stream will start at 6:30 p.m. Make sure to come, tune in, watch the Flyers game with me. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed watching this video. And I will talk to you all again soon.